closures and sweeping protests in the U.S. state of Minnesota, a shocking message from Americans to Khamenei. What's the story? Beneath Minnesota's heavy snowfall, the anger on the streets of Minneapolis has not cooled. Thousands of protesters took to public squares in rejection of the administration of President Donald Trump's campaign against undocumented immigration. The scene reflected an escalation of both political and humanitarian confrontation, with sharp criticism directed at the methods used by federal immigration authorities amid warnings of social and economic repercussions extending beyond the state. Has the anti-immigration campaign turned into a test of the limits of federal authority? What impact have business closures had on the local economy? And could the detention of a child lead to a change in enforcement rules? The snowstorm in Minneapolis failed to dampen public outrage as labor unions and humanitarian organizations answered calls for broad mobilization against arrest operations carried out by immigration agencies. Dozens of shops, restaurants, and entertainment complexes shut their doors in a coordinated move. Organizers said the goal was to exert effective pressure on immigration officials and push them to withdraw from the state. The message was clear: the local economy will not function as usual as long as operations deemed harsh and socially damaging continue.
Justice for Khamenei! Justice for Keith Porter! Justice for Alex!
The spark that intensified the anger came with reports circulating about the detention of a 5-year-old boy during one of the operations. The incident reignited debate over proportionality and humanitarian considerations, prompting more institutions to close in solidarity, while calls grew for an immediate review of procedures and accountability for those setting enforcement rules. At the same time, the battle shifted to the digital space. Posts circulating on the platform X presented narratives including claims of seeking support from external actors in an attempt to politicize the protests and link them to storylines far removed from on-the-ground realities. One post claimed that the U.S. state of Minnesota was asking for support from Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei, while alleging that U.S. federal forces were suppressing protesters in Minnesota. Minnesota now appears to be a testing ground for U.S. immigration policy, rising public pressure, daily losses for business owners, and a national debate over the limits of federal powers and the rights of residents. The coming days will reveal whether the administration adjusts its approach or whether the confrontation is headed toward further escalation.